Now, in life and the people that we have in our lives, there is absolutely no doubt that sometimes we can have challenging experiences. But the question here will be, how do you know if that person in your life that you may have known for decades, how do you know if it's just a challenge or your connection with them in your life has actually worn its path and you're just going in different directions and you don't really have a connection left at all? Because maybe you've just gone in different directions for so long that it's just habit that's keeping your connection alive rather than mutual growth. Now, I remember being asked one simple question many years ago by a very good friend of mine, probably about 20 years ago. And it's that profound, and I'm going to share it with you in this video, that it totally changed my life forever. And it's still a question I ask pretty much every single time I have an interaction with people today that I'm not too sure about. Is it just we're having a difficult time and we need to invest more time, effort, and energy into the connection? Or is it time to say goodbye? And this one question can give you that answer. But before we go into the question, I want to share with you a phrase that I heard many years ago of another friend. And the phrase is the juice worth the squeeze? Meaning, is it worth putting all this effort, time, and energy into the other person? And are you getting the growth and connection back? Or again, is it that you've just gone your own separate ways and it's just habit that is keeping you in connection? Now, in life, we have a whole variety of different people. And as I go into this question and ask it you, I'm going to start with a person that doesn't have a really profound connection in your life. It's maybe an acquaintance, somebody that you see every now and again. The content or information in these videos is for educational, informational purposes only, rather than somebody that's very close to you. Because once you ask this question, it's going to totally change how you see that person forever. Now, that might be in a good way, where you think, actually, this person's wonderful, and I want to invest more time, effort, and energy into them because of the connection that you get from them. But it might be the other way, where you start to come to the realization that, well, your connection and your growth together is just not there anymore. And it may mean that you need to have a reflect on, do you really want to stay connected to that person? Do you want to keep investing the energy and time into the person? Or it may just not be worth it at all. And that is sometimes one of the most difficult things that we can do with people in our lives, especially, and this is the core of this video, if we may have known that person for many, many years, sometimes decades of our lives. Now, this could be our family members that we grew up with, mother, father, auntie, uncle, brother, sister. It could be that we've had long-term friends that we've known since childhood. It could be romantic partners and a whole range of different people that we've known in our lives. But this question, once you ask it, will reveal to you your true feelings about how you feel towards each and every individual in your life. So when you think about all these different areas of people in your life, you've got your family that you grew up with, you've got maybe your family today that you've connected with and grown from as your new family, as it were. You might have friends that you've known for decades. It could be people that you do sports with or go out to club meetings with. So I want you to think about, firstly, a person that doesn't have a profound role in your life. So it's a person that is maybe a connection, but you're a bit impartial to. And it's really important to start with that level of person in your life. So the question is this. Take the person again who doesn't really have a profound role in your life and ask this question. If you met that person for the first time today, and imagine you did not know each other, you had no shared history, you had no connection, you met that person for the first time today. Think about them as they are today, their expressions, their behavior, their mindset, how they live their life, and ask yourself, would you choose them as a friend today if you met them for the first time today? Now, as soon as you ask that question, feel into your gut Don't necessarily use your mind and your thoughts and analyze everything. Just go with your gut, because your gut is relating to your subconscious mind. It is the deeper part of you that's analyzed everything about that situation. And what you're looking for is that feeling of going towards that person and feeling that actually a really good person. Maybe I've not invested enough time and maybe I should invest more time because we want to grow that connection. Or it could be that you've known them for a long time and you start to think, well, they're okay, but I don't really have that much of a connection with them anymore. So I want to start pulling back. And that's why I suggested starting with a person who doesn't have a fully integrated role in your life. Because if your answer was, well, they're okay, or you might feel less about that. You might feel that they're not an okay person. The behavior might be quite abusive in some way. And you think, actually, if I met them for the first time today, I wouldn't really want to choose them as a friend. Then that is how you honestly feel about them. What we need to look at here is that we can have known somebody for 10, 20, 30 years maybe, and we've just gone to this habitual pattern of, well, I've known them for that many years. Well, we'll just kind of go along with it, and that's just life. But in time, lots of things can change. And it could be that you grew apart months or even years ago, and you're just going through the motions. And if they get in contact, you don't really want to talk to them, but you do anyway because you've known them for so long. And that simple question there is the one that changed my life forever. And I've shared it with many, many people as well. And they've also said it changed their life forever. And this is why when I said about asking this question, start with somebody who isn't integrated fully into your life, because it's easier to start with that level. Because if you went straight away and asked this question about, say, a family member, a mother, father, brother, sister, auntie, uncle, or it could be somebody that's in your family now that you've created, husband, wife, extended family, mother-in-law, brother-in-law, whoever it may be, and they could be very integrated into your life. Now, it could be that you've got a really good connection and you think, you know what, if I met that person for the first time today, I would definitely choose them as a friend, and I'm going to contact them right now and rekindle that connection and put more time, effort, and energy into it because they are such a wonderful person and I want them in my life. But what if it's the other way? What if it's the fact that somebody in your life that you may have known for decades, who is very integrated into your life, may know many people in your life? What if you really get a gut feeling that actually you're going in different directions and that you would rather spend time with other people? Or it could be that they're using emotionally manipulative behavior underneath, and in your gut feeling from everything you've seen about that person, maybe it's unlikely that they want to change. Maybe they may connect with that emotionally manipulative behavior and not want to give that up. Because although in the world it would be wonderful if we could think that, people will change, sometimes people don't. But by asking this question, you will get a very clear view of how your gut feeling sees that person. So in summary to this video, it is to ask the question of each and every person in your life, should you choose to, because this is a very profound question. And once you've asked this question, you can't really go back because you'll know in your gut feeling. And if it's that you want to put more time, effort, and energy into that person and build that connection, wonderful. But if it's a gut feeling that actually I want to pull away from this person, I don't really want to have as much connection with that person, you then got to ask yourself, how integrated are they in your life? And if you did want to, say, for example, pull away from that person or have less of a connection with that person, could that become complicated? Could it affect other people in your life, for example? So before taking any action on maybe pulling away from a person or having less connection, I'd strongly suggest write everything down, every thought, every reflection, and then if you do want to pull away from that person, what would you do? Prepare for it. Think about every potential challenge that could come up. For me as a trauma therapist, I always have one thing that I focus more than anything else when I'm working through one-to-one with people, and that is risk assessment. If you're going to make changes to any part in your life, especially something as profound as this, there's somebody that might be very integrated into your life, think about everything that could come up as a challenge. If challenge 1 happened, what would you do? If challenge 2 happened, what would you do? Think about all of the challenges first, work through them first on paper, and then, should you choose to take action on them, then that's your choice. So I hope this question and this video has had as a profound effect on you and your mind as it did for me, because I remember it very clearly and it totally changed my life forever. It helped me understand and clarify the connections that were draining my energy from people that I didn't really want in my life. But also on the other side of that, it helped me understand that there were people in my life who I loved and were wonderful people and are wonderful people because they're still in my life today, that I wasn't actually putting as much time, effort and energy into as I could have done. So that helped me understand that actually I need to start investing more into these wonderful people in my life and growing those connections that I wanted. So for any thoughts or reflections on the topic that we've discussed here in this video, feel free to put them in the comments below, because the more people that get involved in the comments, the more open we can make this discussion. And you never know, as I always say in every video, your comment could change somebody else's life for the better forever.